Rebecca Logan's life felt like a dream. She had worked hard to create a life that blended her personal and professional aspirations. As a pediatric nurse practitioner, she loved her career and enjoyed a home that felt like paradise. A lovely house in a gated community just a few miles from Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Her days were filled with the laughter of her 3-year-old daughter, the light of her life, and what she believed was a strong, supportive marriage. For 7 years, she had dedicated herself to building a stable, happy family. Little did she know that her world was about to fall apart in the most heartbreaking way. It all started with a celebration meant for joy. Rebecca and her husband threw a luau-themed birthday party for their daughter, celebrating her 3rd birthday in style. Family, friends, and neighbors gathered to shower the little girl with gifts and affection. Rebecca treasured those moments, feeling immense gratitude for the life she had worked so hard to build. However, just 2 days after the party, her happiness turned to despair when she returned home to find her world turned upside down. The sight that greeted Rebecca at her home was unimaginable. Her belongings were scattered across the yard, discarded like trash. Her daughter's birthday presents were crammed into a bin, as if the joy they had just experienced had vanished. The locks on the doors had been changed, preventing her from entering her own house. Panic and confusion washed over her as she tried to understand the chaos. It wasn't long before she discovered that her family had been evicted due to unpaid rent, something she found hard to believe, as she had always given the rent money to her husband on time. Desperate for answers, Rebecca turned to her husband, expecting an explanation that would somehow make sense of the situation. But instead of clarity, she was met with silence. He offered no justification for the missing rent money and no comfort for the devastation he had caused. Rebecca felt as though her life was crumbling before her eyes. It was like I had been stabbed over and over, and I was moving too slowly to stop the bleeding, she later said. Determined to uncover the truth, Rebecca began to piece together the puzzle of her husband's behavior. For months, she had noticed small, troubling signs: his erratic sleep habits, sudden weight loss, and an increasing tendency to isolate himself. He was often secretive about his whereabouts and avoided parking his car in their driveway, opting instead for the guest spaces in their neighborhood. Though she had initially dismissed these oddities as work stress, the current situation forced her to take a closer look. Rebecca decided to search his car, the vehicle he had always kept at a distance from her. What she found inside was just the beginning of her nightmare. Empty pill bottles and beer cans littered the interior, revealing a hidden struggle with substance abuse that he had concealed for years. Shock deepened when she opened the trunk. There, among the debris, was a stash of unopened mail, all addressed to her. The letters were from collection agencies, overdue bills, and even birthday cards that had never reached her hands. It became clear that her husband had been keeping secrets, and those secrets had been slowly destroying their lives. But the betrayal didn't stop there. As Rebecca delved deeper, she uncovered even more devastating truths. Over the course of their marriage, her husband had been opening credit cards in her name without her knowledge, taking out personal loans, and draining their finances to fund his addiction. The man she thought she knew, the man she had built a life with, was a stranger. The most painful revelation of all was yet to come. Rebecca learned that her husband had been leading a double life. Not only had he lied about their finances and his character, but he was also secretly married to another woman. He had another child, a daughter from this hidden relationship, a truth he had concealed throughout their entire marriage. The realization left Rebecca reeling. She had trusted him with everything: her heart, her home, and her future. Now, she felt like a fool for not seeing the signs earlier. When she confronted him with what she had discovered, he abandoned her and their daughter without a word, leaving her to pick up the pieces on her own. Faced with the daunting task of rebuilding her life from scratch, Rebecca moved into a hotel with her daughter, buying the bare essentials to get them through the first few days. In the quiet moments of the night, she cried silently, mourning not just the loss of her marriage, but the life she had worked so hard to build. With nowhere else to turn, Rebecca made the difficult decision to move back into her childhood home in Tennessee. Returning to her parents' house at the age of 32 felt like a step backward, but it was the only option she had. She struggled with feelings of shame and defeat as she adjusted to life in her old bedroom, now shared with her daughter. Nights were the hardest, as memories of her past life haunted her and doubts about her future loomed large. But Rebecca refused to let her circumstances define her. Determined to provide a better life for her daughter, she threw herself into her work, taking on extra shifts and tirelessly paying off the debts her husband had left in her name. Slowly but surely, she began to rebuild. Just when she thought she might never find joy again, an unexpected encounter changed everything. A chance conversation with an old friend led Rebecca to reconnect with Stephen, a single father who lived in her hometown. Intrigued, Rebecca reached out to him on Facebook, and they began talking. Their conversations were easy and natural, and for the first time in a long while, Rebecca felt a glimmer of hope. When they finally met in person, it was as though a missing piece of her life had fallen into place. Stephen was kind, genuine, and understanding. He showed Rebecca that love didn't have to be complicated or painful. As their relationship blossomed, Stephen became a pillar of support for Rebecca. He understood her fears and insecurities, patiently helping her heal from the wounds of her past. He shared every detail of his life with her, from his finances to his daily routines, proving that he had nothing to hide. Little by little, Rebecca let her guard down, allowing herself to believe in love again. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and their daughters became fast friends, creating a sense of family that Rebecca had thought was lost to her forever. When Stephen proposed, Rebecca eagerly accepted. In a small, intimate ceremony, they exchanged vows, promising to support and cherish one another through life's challenges. Together, they built a new life filled with love, laughter, and hope. They welcomed a third daughter into their family, marking their journey from heartbreak to healing. Despite the difficulties they faced, Rebecca emerged stronger, demonstrating that even after betrayal, it is possible to find happiness and rebuild a life filled with love and trust. Rebecca's story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always a way forward, and sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the greatest joys. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comment section. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.